but that was.
Well, McGaffney is the only local kid. He went to school with
G-Man.
He went to school with Gerald.
Gerald?
Yes, Gerald and Ace Winstead.
I saw him on a thing the other day.
And Michael. Always.
It was in the draft.
They were seniors.
That draft thing you're talking about with PBR, he was up there. He's got a team.
Yeah. He married a doctor. And he's loaded. In fact, I think he lives in Albuquerque now.
He probably does.
That dude married that doctor. Hell, he ain't got to work.
Well, he, Cassie's mom, he was neighbors to him.
Well, and then Terry is still around. His brother, Terry Gaffney, and his dad, Bob Gaffney. Him and I sold real estate together with Strout Realty. And I don't know, I know Terry's still around. I think Terry lives up La Luz Canyon. But yeah, Michael was out at the house. We used to have the kids out there party. And Gerald and Michael and Ace and all them kids used to come out to the house and have their parties.
I was talking to Adriana the other day, and she's into the big performance horse type stuff.
Yeah.
And she's asking me, "Oh, do you know this? Do you know that? Do you know this person?" No. No. She goes, "Do you know Wes Hausler?" And I kind of grinned a little.
The Spurman!
I kind of grinned a little bit, and I said, "Yeah, I kind of know him." She goes, "How so?" And I said, "Well, he and my dad rode 2 bucking horses through a church camp in Aspen."
They went to school together, graduated. Yep.
She goes,
"Oh, your dad got so."
She goes, "What?" And I said, "You're gonna have to ask my dad that, or Wes. You have to. He still lives."
That Wes Hausler, he rode Booger.
Yeah, he rode Booger.
He said, "I love Booger."
Dad told me he watched Booger. He watched him. They were gathering bulls.
Yeah.
They were trying to gather with like.
It was up on by the ridge across from our house.
On the other ridge.
On the other side.
Yeah, on the ridge right across from our house. It was one bull. They had one.
Well, he said they were trying to gather bulls, and they figured the best way would get like 10 cows and bring them in.
Yeah, that was
and
our
he
cow
said
up there.
this bull kept breaking out, and they run around him, get him back in. He'd break out, and they run around him, and he said, "I guess Wes got mad because he just jerked his rope down." And he said these 2 were full out. I mean, stretched. And he threw his rope, and Dad said my butt got sucked up so tight, and he at the end of that rope, Booger didn't move. He slid about 2 feet.
He started
jerked that bull over backwards, and he said that bull just laid there. Wes stepped off, grabbed his rope, and he said it took him about 30 seconds for that bull to catch his air and then make his way back into the herd. And he said he never moved. He got right dead center and stayed there.
He bought a ranch out here. Him and his dad bought a place out here by Tilly. But
well, he's got
yeah, Rick Lessentine's own place.
Yeah, he's got Lessentine. I went to work after I got fired from Copper Springs. I went to go work for an old man that's got some colts.
I haven't run into him. He started making spurs from scratch.
Yep.
And Wes called him up and said, "Wes, I need a pair of spurs." "Okay, I'll make you some." What are we talking about? "I'll make you a pair for $600.
Holy shit.
Wes said, "Wes, we're best friends. What the fuck is wrong with you?" And he said, "Okay, $450." But he does. He makes some fancy spurs.
Well, and not only does he make fancy spurs, it's bits and bridles, and
everything.
The horses that he, I didn't know this. The horses that he takes to those futurities, $150,000 horse.
Well, what he used to do, Wyatt, what he used to do when he got into horses, is he would buy those outlaws, unbreakable horses, and break them and turn around and sell them.
That's how he paid for college, is what Dad told me in Colorado.
Yeah.
He'd take them colts, and that's how he paid to get through college.
His dad told me, he said, "I get so pissed off at my son. He beats me at everything." And that kid was just, he could do anything, you know. And his dad, Wes, was a leather guy, and he made all of the suits for that Indian movie, Dancing with Wolves.
So that clicks. I remember Dad telling me that he had a buffalo rug on his bed.
Yes,
a nice one.
Wes made every one of those Indians, the stuff those Indians wore in that movie.
Yeah.
Dancing with Wolves. His dad did every one of them.
Damn.
So they're talented.
Well, you know who's really starting to get up in the ranks and bring Tully's name up are those Griffins.
Is who?
Yeah.
Griffins.
Yeah.
Ross.
Yeah.
Ross went to the Cheyenne last year.
Well,
He
see,
went to
those
the-
Griffins come from a long line. Yunk and your Uncle Shorty rodeoed together in Cruces. They went to college together. And then Pete rode and Garvin, who got murdered, rode. And then every one of Cleve's boys are still rodeoing.
Mhm.
Ross's dad, Travis,
Mm-hmm.
he won NMRA, the junior rodeo.
So
He was champion.
Ross is
went
pro
to
and
NFR last year.
Yeah. Did you know what's that Florida bull rider? Clayton.
Who?
Oh,
You know who I'm talking about? The Florida boy. I think his name's Clayton.
yeah, I do, but I can't tell you what his name is.
He
Ross
rodeos
is the
with
only
him.
one that rides anymore, I think.
Well, no. The under boys are coming up.
Is he riding too?
Trayton. I know he college rodeos. I
Those
went to
are
high school.
Travis's.
I went to high school with Trayton.
Those are Travis's. They were Pete's boys. You know Pete?
I don't know.
The old
Pete.
guy, you don't know him?
Mm-mm.
Pete's around here. I have coffee with him once in a while.
No.
That
So
was his boys and grandsons.
Ross is pro.
So,
Travis is college, and then
There's a girl mixed up in that too.
who?
she's still in high school, I think.
Who's
She
that?
might be
Because I know that they have a little sister.
Griffin girl.
They have a little.
A Griffin girl.
They have a little sister or a
Casey.
cousin.
Casey Griffin, I think her name is.
No, I went to high school with one of them. Well, I went to high school with all of them.
Well,
Except for Ross.
it's one of Travis's daughters.
Yeah,
She's
she's either just graduated or
Right.
she's still in
Right.
high school. I know
no,
she
she
was in the younger.
She graduated last year.
I
Okay,
can
yeah.
tell you for
Yeah.
damn sure.
Yeah.
She was up there at Fort Worth
Mhm.
this last month in that breakaway roping contest. I don't know how she came out because I didn't get to watch it all.
Trayton went the year after, either the year of or the year after I graduated. He
Well,
went.
how has Justin's smart-ass kid done?
Danley?
Dad saw him at a rodeo somewhere up north.
Danley?
Yes.
Which one? They both rodeo.
Huh?
They both rodeo. Lon or Laura? Laura?
No. Lon. Dan called me and said, "Who the hell is Lon Danley?" He was doing an interview, and I said, "Justin Danley's kid, the biggest smart ass you ever saw in your life."
What?
He said they had a big ranch in Tularosa. They got a little fucking 50 head outfit.
I don't know about a big ranch.
Of course, I don't
I
care
will-
for Justin.
I will say that Lon's a pretty for someone who does it for a living.
Yeah.
He's a pretty decent bull rider. He may not be up in the
He's
top
not in
15.
FR though.
Yeah, he is.
Is he now? He got his card.
He's had his card for years. I could show you his
Was he in the
NFR.
finals last year?
Yeah, he's not top 15, but he makes a living at it.
Yeah.
You can make a living at it and not go
His
to the.
Justin went to
finals.
school. Donnie Gay had a rodeo bull riding school,
Mhm.
and Justin went there. That's where all this pickup is. Donnie Gay, champion bull rider.
Yeah.
That's where all that shit came from.
Well, and
Justin and Donnie are supposedly good buddies.
Lauren or Laurel, I can't remember her name. She's a pretty decent barrel racer. She's like 3 or 4 years older
Yeah.
than I am. I went to high school with her in Alamo.
Yeah, they were Tommy and Dana's kids. I could care less for Justin. He's the biggest smart ass. I like Jason, and I like him, but I don't care for Justin. He's a smart ass.
You know, they tried to interview Ross Griffin last year. He said a few words, but
None of them boys talk very much.
uh-uh.
I mean, when we were out partying or doing whatever. Good time.
He was 2 years older than you, right? Or three?
Trayton?
3? Yeah.
Trayton? No, he was a year. He was a senior when I was a junior. But get him in front of the camera.
Ross has been out for a little while, so.
They don't talk very much.
No, Ross is still at it.
Huh?
Ross is still rodeos.
Yeah, I know it. I know him well, Dan. I know all the Griffins. They just live right here.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They've got there's
There's
an
place over
overpass over here, and they've got a little arena where they buck out.
And then they've got a cow permit up Coyote Canyon. They've got some cows up there.
Well, and then those other boys that I'm not for sure that they don't rodeo. They'll take horses. That video I showed you of that
Yeah.
round Hancock, that was Griffins.
Yeah.
They got a little corral out there. They'll take horses that'll like to buck, and they'll use them out there. Well, Griffins are hens.
What your dad said, told me he didn't know a griffin that couldn't ride.
No. They're all hens, and they'll either shoe, they'll train, or they ride bucking horses. Or rope. I've never met a griffin that didn't do it in one form or another. Cleve, little Cleve, I say little, he's like 25, I think. I don't know, probably wrong. He ranches and he rodeos a little bit, but he starts colts. He's pretty good. I think I can't remember his younger brother's name. I got a picture I drew for him. He shoes horses and he starts colts. And then they're cousin to the Tidwells. And Hadley rodeos, she barrel races. And her mom's a big time barrel racer.
See, I knew probably her. They would have been my dad's generation. Because when my dad came home out of the service, he worked for Ira Tidwell over there. We lived right on the edge of the Guadalupe Mountains. Warren Tidwell was a professional gambler. That son but never worked a day in his life. Yet he had 14 sections of that old dry country over there around just south of Duncan. I don't know if they still have it or not. Now they had 7 or 8 kids. I don't remember how many. They had a house full. And W.C. was the oldest. He was named after his dad. He got killed in a car wreck in 1958. He had a roping horse, and that's how he made his living. He was a professional roper. He had a roping horse that he had turned down $10,000 for.
I think you told me about that. They
And-
got it in a wreck or something?
Yeah, a drunk hit him head on, killed him, and crippled that horse up so bad they had to put it down. But he had turned down $10,000 for that horse.
Here comes the mule or the can-am. Yep. Hauling ass.
Well, and you know who's a good roper, and I thought he was, when I met him, he was just an old man full of shit, is Howard McDonald.
Really?
From everyone that I've talked to.
Yeah.
Because he went to the Colorado Stock Show, Fort Worth. He went to Madison Square Garden one time, Houston, and he never won a world title, but he was a really good roper.
Young Griffin, and him and Shorty rodeo together, went to college. They belonged to the Mexico State College deal.
Mm-hmm.
And Young paid his way through college rodeoing. That's how he paid his way. Side of Brooks. He's a hell of a rider. Well, Pete was a hell of a rider. Travis's dad,
Mm-hmm.
Ross's granddad,
Mm-hmm.
they all rodeoed. Every one of them.
You know, I regret my dad didn't do it.
What?
I regret my dad didn't go rodeo. Hell, he was a hell of a rider.
Huh.
And Uncle Junior was too. Both of them.
My favorite story that you tell is the one with Leroy's granddad,
Philip,
Philip, at the corrals.
you know, and you would never thought Uncle Philip could ride shit. Big old, tall, long-legged guy. And when he rode a horse, he went.
Well, I mean, you spend that many years
My
riding
dad said
broncs.
they had a round pen out there, where the Trinity site was. And that horse started bucking around that round pen. And Dad's dad, my grandpa, was inside that corral, and he couldn't get out. So he hunkered down by a post. That horse was bucking around that round pen. And Uncle Philip reached down and picked up Grandpa's hat and was found on that horse with him. Still bucking, made another round, and Uncle Philip leaned over and put his hat back on his head. Never missed a bubble. Rode that horse till he quit bucking. And you would have never thought that. He was old, he's slow, and you wouldn't have thought about him doing it.
Yeah.
Were you there when we had the rodeo at Sam Fairchild's?
No.
When Dad was riding, I think he was riding Doc. It started with. I think it started with Austin's horse. I think he was either riding that Sorrel or he was riding Dauber, one of the two, and they blew up.
Might have been Dauber, because
And
Dauber
then
liked to
Gerald-
buck a little.
Well, no, it was the Sorrel because
Yeah, what was his
'Cause
name? What do you call it?
Kobe.
He
so
still
useless
got it,
to-
Wyatt. He's still feeding him.
That Sorrel.
Still got that horse.
Well, he rode that Sorrel. That Sorrel blew up, and then Corby was on Dauber. Dauber blew up. Gerald was riding a paint colt that I think he had 4 rides on him in his life. He blew up. Doc blew up. And then like 10 or 12
Who
other
was riding
guys.
Doc?
Dad.
Oh, was that when Red had him?
That either Red had him or Red had just passed because I was
Well,
little.
see, Red
I was like-
traded Doc. Red traded Doc to Austin for that Ford tractor.
No, because he didn't have him because I think Dad borrowed him from Austin. Because it seemed
Okay.
like everybody was borrowing Austin's horse.
Because that's how Red traded Doc for that Ford tractor. That's when Dan took him back to San
So
Antonio.
everything's blown up except for me, this other kid, and Austin. And I look over at Austin, and Austin's riding Elmer, and he's got Elmer's head in the he's got Elmer's head in the corner, and I can hear him in the
I
back.
loved Elmer.
Don't look, Elmer. Don't look. Don't look, Elmer.
Elmer was good, though. Elmer didn't have a mean bone in
No,
his body.
I rode him when he
He was cool.
Elmer and I were the same age, and I rode him when he was 3.
He was so cool. He had this big old horse. That was his Yellowstone's horse.
He was lazy, is what he was.
Now, he was a little lazy. You had to make him get after a cow. But
Yeah.
you could do anything with that idiot. He just... I don't know whatever happened to him.
I don't know. I tried to when I was about Coda's age. I tried to trade him for.
I know. You would have liked him.
I tried to. When he was probably we were about the same age. I tried to trade him for some with Austin, and Austin almost did it, but Dad was like, no.
Well, that horse, when he was broke from 2 from day 1, he just...
I think all of Austin's horses at one point or another came off of the track. He bought a whole truckload.
I know that. I know
But yeah, so talking about Wes seeing Dad's head come up through the tent,
that. Yeah.
you could see Dad's head come up because he bucked down into this little arroyo.
That was our rojo.
It wasn't very deep, but when Dad and Doc went into this arroyo, you could see Dad's hat come up above the rim every once in a while.
Well, Doc was a racehorse. He was too much for Red. He really was.
Reed tried to get him, didn't he?
Red,
Reed
Reed tried to ride him.
he tried to get him from
Yeah,
from
tried to
Red.
get him from Red, yeah.
And then
He was too much horse for Red at that age. He couldn't handle him. He was
well, the horse that I thought was too much for Red was that Strawberry Roan mare.
No,
She seemed
she
really goofy.
wasn't.
She seemed really goofy.
I wish, we bought Strawberry and Sonny and Jughead
Jug.
all the same guy. We bought them at the same time.
Who did you buy them from? I remember going up there, but I don't remember
Yeah,
where,
and
when.
Strawberry was, Red shouldn't have bought her, but he wanted the horse, so he bought her. But yeah, no, she was.
You are mad.
Well, and then the next time that we went over,
Yeah.
Dad had bought Doc off
Right,
of Austin.
yeah.
Wyatt,
And was
we're
up.
doing this filter on people and see if it works on you.
So he bought Dauber, and that was when the bull run underneath Dauber. They were sitting in a gate sorting cows off of calves, and Sam had this big old bull, this big old Angus bull he called Zeus. Bull must have weighed 2,400 pounds. He was big. And they sort the cows through, and they sort him off, and they're about ready to start sorting some of the older heifers off. And you hear from the back, "Wes, look out!" And this bull is stretched out, runs underneath Dauber, picks him up off the ground, makes about 4 feet, and Dauber just kind of wiggles off. And they hit the ground, and both Dad and Dauber went off to the side, and I don't know who was more confused, but Dauber had this "what the hell" look all over his face.
Lost all 3 of them at one time.
That was the same day that he dumbass Corby was flanking.
Yeah.
And he went at the instead of going at the following down the rope, he went at the at the tail and chased the one head catch that Dad had got. Chased him around, got a rope under Dauber's tail.
Oh shit.
He went to bucking with Maud and Sam's wife were sitting in a little back loading pen.
Yeah.
And Dauber sat back on right against that fence, right where Maud and Dad goes. I thought I was gonna kill Maud. I thought he was gonna flip over back, and he just sat down, leaned off to one side, and went off business as usual. He was weird. You rode him too much, he'd buck till you put a cow in front of him, and then he'd try to eat it.
Oh. Yeah, a lot of wrecks, a lot of good times.
I watched him dust Corby at a little pond.
Good.
I mean, kind of felt bad for Corby. That was a stomping.
But he deserved it.
Oh,
What the hell was he thinking?
He let him get away. The problem with Dauber that Dad told me, he was easy to pull up, but once you didn't get that past that pull up point, you weren't gonna ride him. Dad said he don't know if he could have rode him.
Yeah.
He stomped him good.
Like I said, look,
Paid Austin $800 for him. It was worth it. That's what I bought him for. Figured out it was $800. It was worth it. Well, I liked old Sonny. I was talking to Dan about her. She was one notch above a stick horse. And that's what I liked.
That horse,
She's what I needed.
Cassie thought it was funny. I was riding a horse named Clyde, on a saddle made by a guy named Clyde. He was Hancock. He was part Hancock and he's part something else. And I mean, his belly was bigger than this table. Every time I rode him, I had to do the splits. And I think he was 18, acted just like a 3-year-old every time. I could take a tractor and put it on one end and get it used to it. I drove it 5 foot forward and he thought he was going to eat him.
That's
And-
the word, Hancock.
Well, he was funny.
That's the word.
He would get up and he'd blow his rollers and he'd get all spraddle-legged and then he would touch it and he'd be fine. Well, I think we were going to a dance and I was in a hurry. We rode out and in that big hayfield, Numbnuts, the irrigating man, dug divots about 1.5 feet deep with that pivot and they'd filled with water. He did not like water. I don't know what happened to him. Caught in a flood, almost drowned in a pond. I don't know. He hated water. I couldn't put him in a wash rag. And we rode him up, and I was gonna make my circle around the hayfield, come back, cause a little half circle. He reached his nose down and did his stupid little blowing rollers and spraddle legging, and I touched him with spurs, and he went up, over, and made about 3 bounds and almost tripped in one of those rivets.
Do you remember Lucky? Grandpa's old horse?
He died either when I
Okay.
was little or before.
That horse was deathly scared of water.
Yeah, he was.
And you ride him up to just a little ditch. There could be that much water in it. He'd stand there like this. With his front feet. Now he would jump like 20 foot in the air. Right over
You
it.
know,
He'd sit there and shuffle his feet like that.
yeah.
But then when he drank water, he would sink his nose all up to his eyes to drink water. But crossing the ditch with him, I rode him one day and Pa said, have you ever crossed that ditch up that was up there by the house when that ditch was running? No? He said, okay. He didn't say any more. I rode up to cross that ditch and I'm like he's doing this. What the hell's he doing? About that time. Right over there.
He did that same shit to me. I drove damn near all night. I brought Zona home. She and Clyde and Barbara had him falling out. I
Oh,
brought her home. Got into Dad's about 3 o'clock in the morning. Damn 5 o'clock in the morning, I was, get up, I want you to ride for me, Dad. I don't feel good. Oh, shit. If you ride old Lucky, he's over there. I said, okay. Well, I didn't know he'd do that shit. Dad never told me. And so John was riding right next to me. And I looked back and there was a line of traffic back there watching us go across there. We're going up on the hillside to get them cows. And there was a little stream about that.
Exactly.
He rode up there and he stuck his nose down when he did. I stuck spurs in him. John said he looked up and all he could see was my saddle. He damn near unseated me.
But when he drank water, he stuck his nose in all the way up to his eyes to drink. I mean, just all the way down, like that. You could see bubbles coming up while he was drinking.
I looked back after I got him settled down, and there was some people in the RV. I don't have any idea where they're from, but all I know is that man was standing out there with a movie camera. He got that shit on film, and they don't tell him where in the U.S. it went. But it's probably long gone by now because that's been a long time ago. But I thought, damn, somebody's gonna have a big tale to tell. That's the same day I told you when old Lucky went through that brush and grabbed that cow right by the tail head. Elmer told me he had one cow that would brush up and they couldn't get her out. And I jumped her up on the hillside. Man, she took off. I said, well, I got it made. Damn if I didn't. She went down in this arroyo, and the mouth of it was just choked in brush. And she went in there and stopped. Well, I could see her. Old Lucky could too. Well, that was all it took. That old son of a bitch like to beat me to death in that brush. Because up on that cow, her ears was working, but she thought she was all by herself. So old Lucky, I didn't know he'd do it, but he did. He reached out and grabbed him a mouthful of hide right at her tail head. He stretched it about that far, and that cow bellowed, and she come tearing out of there, and she went and got in the middle of her, and that was it. And she went wherever they went. But he like to beat me to death, getting me out of that damn brush too.
We were getting cows up there one day, and you remember Lucky how round he was?
Yeah.
Remember him? He was like a barrel. Well, after you rode him a while, you would have to stop, cinch him up. Well, we were coming over from Goodson Canyon, coming down towards the house. We're on the side of a hill. Spike was helping us, and your dad, I think Lane Presley was. I don't remember who all. Cows came off of that side, and they kind of scattered out. We heard Grandpa yell, "Help! Help! Help me, damn it!" He was on a hillside, and Lucky was after a cow. That saddle had turned off the downhill side.
Yeah.
I was sitting there like this with his leg on the saddle, and Lucky just standing there like, "Are you going to get off or what?"
Dad told me
Spike
about
got
that.
to him first and pushed him back up and sitting on, "Help! Help! Help me, damn it!"
Dad told me about that.
I thought you were gonna kill her when Reed's girlfriend came over. We were at Sam's.
And when she fell down,
Well, no, she didn't. That horse didn't fall.
she'd have laid down.
Yeah, I'm
That was
Coda's
Sonny,
age.
that Palomino.
I was Coda's age, and I'm just riding to ride at this point. Cow work's all done. They're sitting at the truck drinking beer, and we're walking, and I'm talking with Reed's girlfriend, and Sonny just stops,
And
looks
they laid
over,
down.
she looked left, and she just laid down and then rolled to the side and just sat there. And
Thank God what was her name? I
can't remember her name. I don't
called
really
her
remember.
something. I had a nickname for her.
I don't remember what she looked like.
It didn't
to tell
hurt
you the
her.
truth.
And she'd never ridden much before, but
No,
she got
but
her stirrup
when
out.
she did lay down, she stood up, and then Sonny laid over to the side.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna kill her.
Well, I got on her and I rode her ass. I loped her up and down. I
Yeah,
whipped
you
her
did.
ass with the reins and
I don't remember
do
what-
that, damn it. She never did do it again.
Well, and I'm like Roy or Dakota's age, and I'm getting on to him for that, and he goes, "Well, she can't do that." And I went, "Granddad, she just tired."
Well, what was her name?
She was
I can't
poor.
believe it.
Well, she was pretty hefty too. She was a
So was
big old
Reed.
gal. She
Oh,
was
was
about,
she?
Reed was
about a missus size. So Sonny was probably tired.
"Granddad, she's just tired." I couldn't, 9 or 10 maybe. I remember the only bad habit that Sonny had was she would run backwards
Yeah,
at the most inopportune time. I watched her run backwards down a hill about like so,
yeah.
with
she
Dad on
would,
her
that-
and falling timber everywhere.
But you know something about her though, and I loved it. I'd go down through those mesquites out the ranch,
Mm-hmm.
and you talk about raining. All you had to do is barely touch them reins. And man, she would rain around those mesquites, but she wasn't a good cow horse. She wouldn't turn into
No,
a cow.
She was just a pleasure.
But I'd go right back and forth around those mesquites. And that was so fun, just touch them reins. Boy, she'd lean around. It was, and I wonder if she was broke by a woman. And I wonder if it was pole bending.